to be concerned about liberals. I'm not so concerned about liberals. It's the hard left that seems to raise the greatest concern. And they always seem to be looking to squelch religious freedom. Why is that?
Well, religious freedom, number one, is the first freedom. Without religious freedom, you cannot have freedom of speech, you cannot have freedom of assembly, you can't have freedom of the press. So if you can restrict religious freedom, you can restrict all other freedoms.
The left today seems to be looking to deconstruct the most basic institutions of our culture, family and church, and many of the institutions of intermediation who provide support and help and do many good things. All of those things are being deconstructed by the left. Why?
This is a very good question, because I would like all the millennials who have 95% of their friends or 99% of their friends on Facebook, the next time they have a flat tire, to ask one of those friends on Facebook to come and give them a hand. They are looking to the state, they are looking to anything except the traditional means of social interaction. And that social interaction is probably the greatest and most important part of humanity. Without the kind of social interaction that you have in churches, when you just depend on some mysterious outside institution, that is what breeds violence. You take a look at the comments that go on the internet, the way people speak, the way people treat each other. You lose the aspects of society when you're not dealing directly with other human beings. And this tendency that in the left is to move away from that interaction and have some giant outside institution take care of all your needs.
The law of God was given so that we might understand the character of God better. A God who says thou shalt not kill values human life, and we should too. But the law of God is also to constrain us, which all the societal institutions you've been talking about do as well. So the removal of those institutions is also the removal of constraints, right? Or is it a different constraint?
The question is, do people have personal restraints through belief, or do they have external controls? What the left does not understand is when you remove all of those personal restraints that come with a belief in biblical principles and biblical law, when you remove those personal restraints and rely on the state to enforce it with the brutal hand, the iron fist of the state, well, then you wind up in the situation of everybody trying to find ways around the iron fist of the state. Some way to steal, some way to cheat, because that is in the inherent tendency of mankind. I was in Cuba about 18 months ago, and I could go into the details of the socialist imposed poverty on the nation, and the traditions that have been destroyed, including the fact that they don't even put pepper on the table down there because they can't afford it. There's no spice in any of the food at all. As incredible as that might sound, and because it's 3 generations of socialism, the current generation believes that Cubans never had spicy food. But seeing the kind of imposed poverty, and it is the very people that the left here in the United States talk about uplifting and helping, are the ones that suffer the most under socialism.